Figure it out. Figure it out. You need to figure it out.
Figure it out, man.
Figure it out.
Figure it out.
Figure it out. All right? Figure it out. Just figure it out.
The love of God, figure it out.
And welcome to the FIO podcast. I am your host as always, Mason Kleist. And if you haven't figured it out by now, you need to figure it out. Happy holidays, everybody that's been out there. Merry Merry Chrysler. Happy New Year's 2020. Holy shit. Didn't know it was gonna come to this. Congrats to all the fantasy champions out there. I am yours truly. I am a champion as well. I'm going to play this real quick.
I am inevitable.
We'll get into that a little bit later. I'm joined by my best friend and Trey Suddeth. How we doing?
Doing great. Glad to be on the show. Thanks for having me back. I guess I didn't spoil it too much the first time.
Yeah,
so.
you're my first repeat guest. How's that feel?
Feels pretty good. I'm a little honored and touched that I made it this far.
So you just got off the plane. Where you back home now in Austin?
Yeah. Just drove home. Had to deal with all the baggage carousel and everything. I went to Washington D.C. to visit the lady for New Year's.
Yeah.
And got back late tonight.
So how was that? How was your holidays? I know we spoke a little bit, but I really don't know in depth how it went.
Yeah, I went home to Naples and did the family back and forth. Went, going with the Christmas exchange and dinners and go to church with the family, all that stuff. But it was nice, good weather. Everything that you love and miss about Florida is still there. Still the same. I wish I would have gotten the chance to see your dad like I
Yeah.
But I actually sent him a postcard from DC, and if he checks his mail, he should get it here probably next week.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure he's gonna like that. He's hype. Rob just visited him too, Forte, and they sent me a video of them together eating fish dip. So that was that was kind of funny to see.
Fish dip.
Fish dip. Yep.
Nice.
So that's always good. But yeah, that's good that you had a good holidays, I guess. I mean, what did you go to the beach?
I went to the beach, yes. Went to the pool, just kind of got some sun since
That's what I need.
It's like 65, 70 here in Austin. I'm sure it's similar out in El Paso for you.
Not really.
It's not the same warmth right now that is in Florida. So was able to enjoy that, and then got a little dose of the Northeast, DC, and then we went to West Virginia for some skiing, and yeah, had a nice little holiday. Definitely feel the desire to be back in the real world here and knocking some stuff out, getting back to work.
Yeah, you definitely feel that. You definitely, I definitely understand that feeling where if you're away from work for a while, you feel like you're missing out on stuff, and you feel like you're
and just
behind.
you like that feeling of getting stuff done. That
yeah,
you're back in your routine and
exactly
working out, eating right, all those things.
The last 2 days at work have been like the busiest days, because it's always pretty busy after the holidays, and I haven't even been complaining. I'm like, dude, but I've like missed this, and I like staying busy at work though. Like I don't like to have like downtime and stuff. I want to constantly be doing something. Just because, what's the point if I'm going to be there? I'm not just going to like dick around.
Yeah. So tell me about Christmas Day at the zoo. Did you do anything special for the animals there?
It's more for the public. I mean,
open on Christmas.
No. I went in on Christmas night to feed them. But we hardly ever do any like hardcore cleaning on the holidays, just so we just do enough, like the bare minimum stuff, just give them their food, their water, enrichment and whatnot, and then make sure they're alive, make sure their heaters are on and whatnot. And then the day after the holiday is when, full day of work, and that's what sucks, because you got like double the poop, double the cleaning. And that's what yesterday was, and that was pretty rough.
All that Christmas eggnog partying from the animals, or what?
Yeah, pretty much. But no, we give them enrichment for the public more for them. Like they like it, but like the public, like we give them Christmas trees, you know, like
Okay.
like Lowe's, I think it was, or Home Depot donated the zoo like 300 Christmas trees, and we didn't need that many by any means. Like a lot of them got thrown out, so it was stupid.
Gotcha, just to like festive it up and okay.
Yeah, and I felt bad because I figured they'd been doing this every year, giving them Christmas trees every year for enrichment. You know, seems like a pretty standard thing. And so I threw in a Christmas tree into one of our, we have like these giant hogs. So I threw one in there with one of the males, and he was loving it. He was like throwing it around, like playing with it, eating it. And then I get a call on the radio saying, "Oh, the Christmas trees could potentially be toxic to the animals if they eat too much of it. So just be wary. Don't let your animals eat too much of it." And I was like, okay, well, I just gave it to a freaking hog. Like,
He's gonna tear that thing up.
they eat everything you put in there. So I had to go in there and play like tug of war with this.
Murder by zookeeper.
Yeah. I had to go in there and play tug of war with like this 400-pound hog, and it wasn't easy. And I felt sorry taking it from him. I was like, I'm sorry, Stevie. I got to take away your toy. But yeah, so that was the extent of that.
Any downtime then for Christmas, or I guess the after when your lady came to visit?
Yeah, it's been pretty chill. I saved up some holiday, and I had like 4 days off. We went hiking, did the whole touristy thing. Went to White Sands National Park. That was pretty cool.
Hey, you finally got to hike El Paso Mountain there.
Dude, yeah, we've been everywhere.
What have you been talking about since you moved there?
I know, and I remember I was saying this. I felt bad because I remember when you were here, you were like, "Let's get up early and go hiking," and I was like, so tired. I was like, "No," and then now I am going hiking, and I'm like, "Damn, he missed out. Like this is good stuff." So, you'll definitely have to next time you're out here. I know exactly where to go now. I know all the good spots because I pretty much hit them all.
All right. Well, I'll let you have that special moment with your lady, and I'll get the second sloppy seconds.
The sloppy seconds of hiking. I love it. That'll be the caption to the photo. Got me some sloppy seconds on this.
And White Sands, they just made that to a national park.
Yeah, that was recent. It still says National Monument, I think, on some of it. But it's pretty cool. We got to go sledding and stuff. I broke one of the sleds and had to go buy another one. That was pretty nice. But they're cheap. They're cheap little shits. So
Yeah. How'd you break it? Shredding too hard?
I stepped on it. So yeah, and then it cracked in half. So it was a little bit my fault. Like I probably shouldn't have stepped on it, but I thought I could handle my weight of my foot if it's handling the weight of my butt. So I was sadly mistaken by that. But it was pretty fun. Yeah, we wiped out, hit a few yuccas on the way down.
A few what?
Yuccas. You know what yuccas are?
Tell me what that is now.
Yuccas are it's a type of plant. It's like a succulent out here, so they're pretty sharp, and they you would know it if you saw it. They're pretty much everywhere. If you look at deserts, like that's what you'll see. Like not just cactuses, but yuccas too. It's worth the Google. So yeah, they're pretty sharp, and we ran into a lot of those too. So that was always fun. But yeah, it was a good time, man. And it was crazy because we went hiking in Las Cruces, which is in New Mexico, at this place called Dripping Springs. Yeah, that was probably one of my favorites. Out of we went White Sands wasn't really hiking. That was more like sledding, I guess. But for hiking, I think Dripping Springs was my favorite as far as like views and difficulty of hike, and weather. Like it was decent weather too. But then didn't see a lot of wildlife though on any of the hikes. It's a little too cold, so I didn't really expect to. But one of the rangers was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, what do you got out here?" They're like, "Oh yeah, we got, this, that. Oh, oryx. There's oryx out here." And I was like, and I don't know if you know what an oryx is, Trey. It's worth the Google. Go ahead and Google it. It's an African.
That for me.
ORYX. Oryx. Look at that thing. It's a beast.
Yeah, it looks like a big antelope.
Yeah, it's from Africa. They're massive.
They have those on some ranches out here in Austin.
Dude,
where people, they get like exotic ass animals.
Yeah, Texas is key to that. I mean, I'm kind of filling in the stereotype with all my dart frogs, but at least it's not like tigers. And Joe Rogan said this actually on one of his comedy tours. There's more, and this is a true fact, there are more tigers in captivity in Texas by like private, not just zoos, like private people than there are in the wild.
I believe that.
That's how crazy Texas is. But yeah, but she said it so casually. She's like, yeah, this oryx. And I was like, whoa, go back to that. Oryx? You mean the African antelope that's like massive? I was like, what do you mean oryx? She's like, yeah, they got introduced out here for hunting like years ago, and they just flourished. Nothing eats them. I was like, yeah, because they're huge. What's going to eat them? You know, like coyotes, wolves can't take them down. I don't even think a mountain lion could take that down. So
Right.
I thought that was pretty interesting. But that's what I was looking for the whole day, and I couldn't find any. But I assumed you'd have to go pretty far off the beaten road.
Well, and they seem like herd animals, so I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you tell me, but
Yeah, they definitely are. But I mean, I've heard. I know they can get pretty aggressive. That's why I was like, if they ever ran up on us, we might be screwed. But I don't know. But yeah, it's been good. The weather's just been weird. Like you were saying, it's 70 where you are. It's like it won't get past 55 here. It hasn't been past 55 in a while. But like yesterday, my Amazon Alexa Dot got the weather completely wrong. Said it was going to be 55 sunny, and it was raining all day and like 30. I was freezing.
was that the new Christmas gift?
Yeah, I love her. She knows a decent amount. I should get her on the podcast. Alexa, how's your day going?
I'm fine, thanks.
Sounds like you guys are getting pretty intimate.
Yeah, it's getting pretty serious between me and her. She knows a lot. I forgave her for her mess up yesterday. It's okay. She was right today. That's all that matters.
She's just doing her best.
But okay, enough about our holidays. You know,
Yeah, let's dive on in here.
it's 2020 now. Let's get into the meat of it.
Roaring 20s, man.
The rolling 20s. Yeah, we're back into it. The roaring 20s. So, as you know, because I've been talking about it, I am a fantasy champion. It feels good. You've done it before. It's a good feeling. You feel like you're better.
Been a while. It's been a while. But neither of us in our league, but I know you've got your other boys' league that you
won.
took the cake on.
You won in our league 2 years ago, right? Didn't you win 2 years in a row, or no?
Yeah, I guess it was 3. I think it was 3 years ago.
But you won 2 in a row, right? Or just one? Or 2 out of 3? I can't remember. I thought you won a couple.
I won the first one like 8 years ago.
Oh.
And then this one, that was 3 years ago. So two within the league, but
yeah,
it feels like, unless it's this year, it's just, it's so obsolete.
I feel like the Tennessee Titans of our league. I finish 8-5 every year, and I'm making the playoffs. But for them, because and I don't know if you know this, the Tennessee Titans are the first team in NFL history to go 9-7 4 seasons in a row. 4 seasons in a row. At least they're consistent, right?
They're fighting for a playoff spot, aren't they, this weekend?
They're in the playoffs. The playoffs already started, boy.
They play the Patriots, right?
Oh yeah, we'll get into that. Don't spoil any of your picks. We'll get into that.
I was piecing something together. I saw an article talking about Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, I like Ryan Tannehill.
How he's having like one of the league's best years as an efficient quarterback passer.
Definitely for scoring.
What's that?
Definitely for scoring. Like 8 weeks in a row, they were averaging like 30 points a game.
Yeah, but it's a testament to his ability to sling the ball
and run the ball. People forget that he can run.
Yeah, well, he's going to be up for a big contract. Was what the article was talking about, and just kind of that the Dolphins, the worst team in the league, cut him thinking he was worse than the worst team in the league, and then goes from backup to phenom.
He's a system quarterback. You can't. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing. Tom Brady's the best system quarterback of all time, but Ryan Tannehill found his system. He found what clicks with him.
Yeah.
I don't think the Dolphins. He needs weapons around him to be good. So does Kirk Cousins. You give. The Dolphins had Devontae Parker. That's all they had. You can't win with just one guy. So I
Sure.
mean, you can't blame him. He hasn't had a lot of weapons in the last, what is it, 7 years that he's been there. What is Jay Ajayi, another big name guy that was in the Dolphins? Jarvis Landry. I mean, he put up numbers with Jarvis, but they weren't winning. So
Sorry to have jumped the gun, but that was what where my mind was going there.
no, yeah, definitely. I would extend
You
him.
want the Tennessee Titans of playoffs or of fantasy?
I think so. But we're not talking about my mediocre 5th place finish in our league. We're talking about my outstanding, absolute dominant 1st place finish in my Kentucky league that I finally won.
You were stressing about it.
I
last
was.
few weeks, I remember.
This is my 4th year being the commissioner of this league, and this is my 3rd time in the championship. So I've lost 2 championships in this league, and I've been the commissioner. So it's a tough feel if you lose like that. And so I said this year I'm going to do everything within my power, whatever it takes to win. Like, obviously within the rules, I'm not going to cheat, but and I'm not going to manipulate it by being the league manager and whatnot, obviously. But I will make trades. I will have to make
If you can
moves.
get away with it.
Yeah, I'll trade Rape here and there. It's a legit strategy. It's a legit strategy. But I'm gonna go. I'm breaking this down. I got this all written out and all organized. I'm gonna break down my top 3 trades from this season, and because everyone's saying I took advantage of people in my league, everyone's saying I took advantage of people. Everyone's saying that the trades were bogus, were bullshit, and that they weren't fair. So I'm going to break down the trades and just see how fair they actually were. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right. September 18th was my first trade. I traded Mark Ingram.
Oh, we're going way back in the
This is
history
only
books.
my top 3, so it's not like I made probably 6 trades, but 3 of them didn't really matter because I cut them or never played them. So these are the big ones. So I traded Mark Ingram and Kareem Hunt for Todd Gurley and Sammy Watkins. This was probably week 2. Yeah, September 18th. That's week 2. Mark Ingram just had a big game against the Dolphins when they blew him out. And then I traded Kareem Hunt as well. Obviously, he was suspended at that point, but the guy I traded to was a Browns fan. So you got to know your audience. You got to know that he's going to want that guy. Sammy Watkins was kind of just like a toss-in. I didn't really care. I wanted Todd Gurley because I believed in my brain that Todd Gurley was going to be a good running back this year. And I said, you know what? And I already had Christian McCaffrey. So I was like, okay, I could probably, CMC and Todd Gurley, that's a pretty good duo right there. So Nick, who the guy I traded with, he went on to be 8-5 and finished 3rd in the playoffs. So he went on to have a very successful season. Mark Ingram finished 11th. I don't think he was a scrub by any means in fantasy. That's a good trade. Todd Gurley finished 14th. So if anything, you could say, and Kareem Hunt had a good, once he came back, he produced. So if you want to say anything, I think I got the worst end of that deal. But I think I ended up getting the better part of the deal because of what I got with Todd Gurley and Sammy Watkins. I ended up trading them
But
away.
you traded them away,
Yeah.
got better returns.
Which is this trade right now. So my next trade was the very next week. Because I gave Todd Gurley one chance. He put up 5 points, and I said, I'm done. I'm not dealing with this Todd Gurley shit. And so I sold him high. It was the guy that I was trading with was 0-2 or 0-3 at the time. So I said, dude, you know what? You need to win now. So let me give you these players. So I traded him Mark Andrews, who I picked up off waivers week 2, and I had Travis Kelce, so I had no intention on playing him. So I knew I needed to trade him. Todd Gurley and Sammy Watkins for Cooper Kupp, Aaron Jones, and Delaney Walker. So Cooper Kupp at the time and Aaron Jones at the time were not producing like they were, mid-season towards the end of the season. And obviously, Aaron Jones had 19 touchdowns this year. He's amazing. Finished 2nd. Cooper Kupp finished 4th, although I wouldn't necessarily call him a top 5 fantasy receiver with his production towards the end. In the middle of the season, he was crazy.
Yeah.
He got
a lot of teams to the playoffs.
Yeah, but he died down very fast. I didn't start him in the postseason, so that just shows that. And Delaney Walker, just a little throw-in. Doesn't really matter. But I sold Mark Andrews. I said, and I stand by this. He finished 5th. He's a top 5 tight end. I said he's going to be the George Kittle of this year. Last year, George Kittle was just some guy people picked up, and he ended up being a top 5 tight end. So that was. Do you agree or disagree, Mark? That's what Mark Andrews was this year.
For the Ravens, correct?
Yeah, he's a tight end for the Ravens. He's the George Kittle of this year.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. And
So
I'll throw another tight end who performed very well at the end of the season is Jared Cook for the Saints.
Jeez, yeah, man, I almost picked him up too in our league.
It was triple. I think he had 3 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns, and a touchdown back to back to back.
Freaking Drew Brees, man. I was like, no way he's gonna throw it to him, and he was questionable for like every game.
Yeah, but it was only 3 or 4 catches there, but they were all touchdowns.
They were all touchdowns,
50 yards or so.
And towards the end of the season, Tyler Higbee, the tight end for the Rams, after Gerald Everett went down, Higbee became like a 12-point.
I didn't pay much attention to him.
I mean, he only started going off until like week 12, week 13. So basically, if you weren't in the semis, it didn't really matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point there. Thanks for pointing that out.
Well, shit, I wasn't in ours anyway. And I didn't need him for my other league because I had Kelsey. I picked up people in the playoffs just so other people couldn't get them.
Yeah. No, that's
like Higbee. I picked up Higbee so nobody would take him. I picked up other people so nobody would take him.
That's why you're a champ.
So, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I don't think that was a bad trade. That guy ended up finishing last in the league. Sometimes the trades don't work out for everybody. But he was an idiot. He traded away Mark Andrews for like scraps like 4 weeks after that trade. So I was like, I don't know why you're getting rid of him. He's putting up 20 points a week. But oh well. Cooper Kupp, Aaron Jones obviously went on to have amazing years, but at the time when I traded for them, their stocks were very low. So when I made the trade, nobody said anything. Nobody was like, oh, that's such a bogus trade. But then they're putting up 30 points a week. They're like, who's giving Mason all these players? You know what I mean?
Oh, man, that's you just seeing the value.
Exactly. And the final trade was probably the biggest trade I made. I traded Austin Eckler, Tyler Lockett, and Kenyon Drake for Saquon Barkley. And this was right before Barkley came back from injury. So he hadn't played for like 2 weeks. The outlook didn't look good. Thought he was going to be out for another couple weeks. And I fully expected him to be out for another couple weeks. But then he ended up coming back a week early. Gave me some bad performances the first couple weeks. But then obviously went off in the fantasy playoffs. So he did his due diligence there. But Austin Eckler finished 4th, a top 5 running back. At the time when I traded him, he was second best running back in fantasy. And everyone said, oh, Melvin Gordon's coming back. He's going to take away all the points. And obviously not. Austin Eckler finished 4th, averaged well over 20 points a week. Tyler Lockett, respectable receiver, finished 13th, top 15 receiver. And Kenyon Drake was just a throw-in. I just threw him in there. And it was right when he got traded from Miami to the Cardinals. And obviously you know how well Kenyon Drake did. Since the trade, when I traded to him, he scored 39, 33, and 17. And the guy that I traded him to went on a 5-game winning streak.
Yeah.
So that's you could argue I got the lesser end of the deal as well. That's 3 players that you can start every week and they'll produce for you for just one. You know what I mean?
Tell me the one it factor for you that made the difference in your season here.
The it factor?
Yeah.
Like a turning point?
Yeah.
Almost?
The pickup player or the best value that you got, whether it was from the draft or from a trade. Who was the one player that really took you to the next level?
It's probably a tie. I would have to say it's drafting Christian McCaffrey with the 3rd pick. I had the 3rd pick in the draft, which I thought, him at 3rd's a steal. At this point, you can make an argument that Christian McCaffrey is one of the greatest fantasy players of all time. Fantasies like this season, you know what I mean? Could go down in the history books as one of the greatest fantasy seasons of all time.
Yes.
Well, I think he averaged 31 points a week, which is absurd. Never. I think his worst game was obviously he had like a 7-point game, and then after that was like the next lowest was like 18. Like he pure dominance. He was first team All Pro in 2 different positions at running back and flex, whatever that means. But because the fullback position doesn't matter anymore. But yeah, definitely drafting him because he's been amazing and healthy and just been awesome. And the trade for Cooper Kupp and Aaron Jones, just because those two were in my lineup consistently putting up numbers for the better part of the season. Cooper Kupp obviously died down, but then it didn't matter because I was already, 11-2 when it came to the playoffs.
Yeah, got you where you need to be.
But I'm just like proud of this season with me, not only because of these trades. It's not like I sucked all year and then I made these trades and then I got good. My draft was projected the number 1 draft. I have the best draft out of everybody, and I never dropped out of first place. So it's not like, I made a comeback. I lost it for a little bit. Like I maintained it at the top the whole time. Lost 2 games only, and then went into the playoffs and dominated in the playoffs. And I think I won by 70 in my first game, and then 50 the championship game. Yeah. So
well-deserved victory.
I am inevitable.
I know you put a lot of time into it.
And you were there when I drafted that team. You helped me, so you can put a little. You told me to take Kelsey, man.
I get some of the winnings is what you're saying?
No, I'm sorry. I wish. You and Walker both.
You can make it happen.
With what? With giving you the money?
Yeah.
Well, shit. I was gonna give Robbie his money back until he wanted to throw a big temper tantrum after the game. I expected a little saltiness, but he just started roasting the Vikings out of nowhere. I was like, why you got to bring them into it?
Oh man, yeah.
He got really bad.
Yeah, no better than that.
But I can't remember if I told you this. I definitely mentioned this on the podcast, my last episode, where he brought up wanting to split the money. Did I tell you that?
Yeah, dude, the 50-50.
Yeah, figure it out, Rob. Like, I love you, man, but and that's what ultimately, that and the saltiness broke down. And I was going to give him his $20 buy-in back, but then after I saw that, I was like, you know what? He just needs to learn from this. He needs to get this rubbed in a little bit, rub some dirt into it. And I didn't gloat. I said, good season, boys, and we'll talk about it next year. And that's the same words I said when I lost the championship the year before. I said, good season, congrats on the winner, and I'll see you next season, And I say that, and I get kicked from my own group chat. So
that's the salt, man. You just gotta let it happen.
But this is why I made them pay before the season.
It's a good policy.
It is, because none of them would have given me money.
Coming from someone who threw a fit originally when we tried to do
No. Don't try and twist this against me. You corrupt commissioner said, whoever gets their money in gets to pick their spot. Money first. I'm surprised you weren't like, if you throw me an extra $5, I'll let you pick whichever spot you want.
Corrupt commish.
It is a little corrupt, but
crooked.
Last thing I want to say, just to kind of rub a little bit of more dirt into it. So Robbie gave me shit after the game saying, you screwed people over with your trades. Obviously, I just went through my trades. They were legit. But just for Robbie's sake, let's undo all of my trades. Let's give me all my players back that I originally drafted, and I never make a trade. Never made a trade all year. So I made a lineup based off the people that I would have kept and probably would have started in the championship game. And I tallied up the points.
That's elaborate, man.
It is very elaborate. Well, you took a while to give me a call, so I had plenty of time. So, obviously, I had Drew Brees. This is for the championship week, so this is week 16. So I'm going over week 16 scores from these players. Drew Brees, 22 points. Christian McCaffrey, 32. I would have started Austin Eckler. He only scored 11.9. And then I picked up A.J. Brown right before playoffs. He was amazing. He scored 15 week 16. Now, here's where I'm humble. I would have started Tyler Lockett for sure, and he only scored 2 points in week 16. So I'm going to eat that. I'm going to say, yeah, I would have started him. So there's 2 points. Travis Kelce scored 21. And before I get to the flex, I'll go to the defense. 49ers got me 6. Harrison Butker got me 10. So the flex could have been any of these 3 players. Could have been Mark Andrews if I decided to go for a double tight end. But at that point in the season, that's not that bad. If you're going Kelsey and Andrews, that's a good duo. Kenyon Drake and Mark Ingram. Those are all 3 guys I probably would have considered for my flex. And Andrews scored 27, Drake scored 33, and Ingram scored 17. So pick your poison. I tallied up the scores, so it was 149, 155, and 139. So all 3 of those scores would have beat Robbie's 137. So trade or no trade.
Inevitable.
You got the words right. Trade or no trade. Basically.
I am inevitable.
All right, enough. I'm sorry. I just had to do that. I had a whole page dedicated to that, Trey.
Yes, no, it's you only get to win once a year, so
Exactly. So I want to get it all out, and I want to congratulate again everybody who's listening. If you're a fantasy champion, good job, congratulations,
yeah,
you made it.
It's well earned.
It's all that time and effort.
Enjoy the whole off season of gloating.
Of gloating for sure, and I'm just mad that we don't have like a punishment, but it's okay. That's what our league is for.
Right.
So I'm excited for Walker to take the Greyhound bus to Vegas.
Vegas
In August. I'm glad it was you guys because it was between you two for last place, and both of you are probably the only people that would have done it. I don't think Jack or Dom would have done it as much as they say they would. Dom wouldn't do it.
Jack would have probably come up with some excuse. You're right.
Dom wouldn't do it. Dom would be like, my mom said no. That's exactly what he would say. But all right, let's get into another topic. Go from fantasy football to real football. So I got a question that I heard on ESPN the other day that got me thinking, and I want to hear what your thoughts are.
I'm ready.
Would you rather for the next 5 years have Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback or Lamar Jackson?
Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson is my quarterback for my franchise?
Yeah, for the next 5 years. It's a
I'll
tough
say
one.
Patrick Mahomes.
You're going with Mahomes?
Yeah.
Why is
I
that?
like his style of play. I think it's more sustainable.
Yeah, he's a little bigger, he's gotten injured too, so you can't really say he's injury proof. But
Well, he slings the rock. Like he passes the ball and he gets the ball out of his hands.
Yeah, that's the league right now, man. It's a passing league.
Yeah. So and that's just what I actually enjoy watching, and I think like designing plays more for.
Yeah, I feel like you can do more with it, I guess. But I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with choosing either of the two. But
you can two great options there, but my preference falls for Mahomes style.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
What about you?
I'm gonna have to agree with you and go with Patrick Mahomes as well. I think he's sensational to watch, and I feel like people kind of forgot about him because of how good Lamar Jackson's been. So he's been kind of just like chilling in the back, like waiting to. And now they have a first round bye, so I'm sure they'll see next week what happens there. Do you remember in Austin when you were Patrick Mahomes yourself? And I was Christian McCaffrey.
I remember now that you mention it.
We had pretty good seasons this year. It wasn't Halloween.
No, it wasn't. But I think it was like what? When did you move here? September, October?
It was September, so it was just we were just out when we were just messing with drunk people, and just saying, "Yeah, I'm Christian McCaffrey. Yeah, I'm Patrick Mahomes."
Yeah, some bimbo who knew nothing about sports.
And then they looked him up and be like, "Yeah, they look kind of like you."
Check out our highlight tapes.
We play
a little ball.
Yeah, no, but that was when I was like, "Yeah, he won MVP last year." Golly, man, that was fun. Similar question: Baker or Josh Allen for the next 5 years?
Baker Mayfield or Josh Allen? I like Baker Mayfield.
Damn, I'm going Josh Allen, man. I think he's more mature. I think he's bigger, he's stronger, he's a better thrower of the football, he can run more, he's more athletic.
Baker's just a gamer, dude.
Yeah, a gamer that hasn't won a lot of games.
He won the Heisman in infinite amount of games in high school and college, dude.
I'm tired of talking about his college career. It's not college anymore. NFL and college is a completely different game. Completely different game.
But he's adapting and getting his team together. He's
That's
got
cool,
that
but
motor.
like he's acting like should win the MVP every year. So
What examples of that do you have?
calling out coaches, calling out the staff.
And they did. They got rid of all the coaches and staff because they were bad.
I don't think
Kitchens.
Kitchens.
They don't have a coach right now, and they don't have a GM.
I don't think Kitchens was the problem. I don't think Kitchens was.
Well, he's gone.
It was Baker, but it's neither here nor there. And I can't wait to get my buddy Nick back on the podcast and roast him about the Browns. He's pretty beat up about them. One of the worst teams in the decade, for sure.
I think they're on the cusp of something. They just need the right coach.
I think OBJ leaves.
They're going to get someone from college, is my guess.
Lincoln Riley. Nobody wants it, bro. Ron Rivera didn't even want it. He took the Washington job over the Browns. It's just too much negative energy there. Too much toxicity in Cleveland right now.
You say that, and someone's willing. Someone's going to break the mold and have something to say about it.
Did you see that Antonio Brown had a workout with the Saints?
Other than you shared that in our GroupMe, I haven't read anything else about it.
The Saints.
The Saints aren't gonna. They're just like kind of denying it or playing coy.
Well, no, they don't deny that he had a workout with them because they worked out 7 receivers and he was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But they ended up signing a different guy, which is because, and they said because they don't want to wait for his suspension. So it's the same thing. I thought maybe the Saints knew something and we didn't know. Like, oh, maybe there's a way around it and he can play in the playoffs. And I can see Sean Payton 100% saying, hell yeah, we don't care. We want to win a Super Bowl. Because they know Drew Brees is getting old. Their window's closing here. That's why I feel sorry that we have to do it to him on Sunday. But we'll get into that later. I'm not trying to spoil my pick. You never know. I might pick the Saints. But AB went on Twitter, of course, and ripped the Saints organization. Said it was
that's great.
A publicity stunt.
Good for business,
dude. It just makes me so mad because he keeps doing this. But I just know he'll be on a team next year. Because he's so good,
I don't know, man. They might do the old Kaepernick treatment to him.
Kaepernick's not. You can't compare him to Antonio Brown. He was never as good as Antonio Brown was.
He was a Super Bowl quarterback.
Antonio Brown had 6 seasons in a row of over 1,200 receiving yards.
I'm not saying they're of equal skill level. I'm just saying he's going to get blacklisted like him, and that no team will take him because there's way too much public persona implication. Despite some sort of talent, I don't think he's going to play. I'm hoping.
I think the only A Brown should be in the league is that AJ Brown guy on the Titans. He's good, that little rookie receiver. He's up for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Do I think he'll get it over Josh Jacobs? I don't know. But I don't see why not. But yeah, I'm just tired of this cycle with Antonio Brown. I'm tired of talking about him too, but he just keeps showing up, so I got to keep talking about him. He's relevant,
Sure.
That's what he wants. He wants me to talk about him, me personally. He'll tweet at me and say, "Yeah, I win. I got this guy to talk about." I would love to have him on the podcast. I would just get him riled up. What would I say to Antonio Brown? What goes on in your head every day? What?
What are you eating for breakfast?
Or I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna paint you hypothetical scenarios, Antonio, and you just tell me the first thing that you would do. I'll be like, the Ravens ask you to come work out for them. Oh yeah, I'm cool. I'm gonna tweet about it. Go Ravens. before the workout even happens. Go Ravens. Lamar Jackson, MVP.
I'm gonna buy a spot in Baltimore.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tweet at it.
And then I'm gonna be like, okay, then you have a workout, and they say we're gonna go in another direction.
It doesn't go exactly the way you thought it would.
Yeah. Just they say stay in contact. You're an amazing receiver and a good guy, deep down. Keep in contact. God bless you. And he'll be like, what do you do then? Oh, fuck them, bro. I'm my own man. Only God can judge me. Fuck them. I'm going on Twitter.
Well, and it's such a shame. I think John Gruden was the only one who could have given him as much chances as he did, and he just
He loved him.
Yeah, still does. I bet it's just that like you can't. His hands are tied. He can't have that on the team.
Yeah, I don't know if he ripped Gruden. I think he ripped but just about everybody else, though. Derek Carr,
Yeah, but in doing so, he's ripping Gruden because Gruden put his neck on the line.
Yeah. Why you gotta do it to Gruden, man? Gruden's a good guy.
Chucky.
Everyone thought they were going to the playoffs, and then they lost 3 straight by like a margin of 100 points to 20 or some shit. It was
I remember
crazy.
them being in the running for it.
And then they just got blown out. Once they got some spotlight on them, blown out by everybody. Poor Raiders. And they lost their final home game.
Playing this weekend. I have not been privy to playoffs at all.
Oh, you don't make the playoffs in fantasy, so you're like, I'm done with football?
Well, in NFL, Tennessee football was my main priority, and they just played Thursday night.
Yeah, I saw that. I was at a pizza place.
Victory.
It was yesterday. I was at a pizza place last night, and I saw them on, and they were getting their dicks kicked in. And I was like, oh, that's...
Finish that thought.
And then I see on Twitter later that they came back and won. So I didn't even watch the highlights. I don't know how they came back and won, but that's pretty crazy. I think it said they have they have the third longest active win streak in the college football right now.
Well, guess who they're behind?
Behind Clemson and LSU.
Yeah, and one of them's going to lose.
Oh, so they'll be a second.
Yeah.
That's funny. Ooh, okay, yeah, let's get into some college football. I forgot about that. That's a thing. Who's gonna win the college football championship if you had to put your money on it?
So I'm
Tigers versus Tigers. That's crazy.
Yeah, Battle of the Tiger. Who's the rightful tiger? I'm following my mom. I talked to my mom about this earlier today, and she said it just in the same breath that I'm about to, that LSU has just done nothing wrong this whole season.
Ooh.
And they have looked like the best team from start to finish. Clemson always seems to have the better coaching, and I love Dabo, but this is LSU's, like, it seems like a team of destiny.
It's their destiny.
Element. Joe Burrow, excuse me. And Clemson's fantastic. I think it'll be a great game, but LSU brings that fire to their defense, and their offense has been unstoppable all season. So I don't know how. It would take a lot for Clemson to win. I think it'll be very close, but LSU's got the firepower.
Yeah, barring injury, I think that LSU is going to be the heavy favorite. But I think this will be Joe Burrow's biggest test. People may say it was Alabama, but Clemson's got some real NFL talent on the D-line.
Yeah,
like every year you're seeing a first rounder out of Clemson on the D-line go. Every year. And for a reason, because they're all good. They're all number 1 draft picks. They're all number 1 prospects. So I think he's going to have his hands full for sure. Trevor Lawrence is going to have his hands full too with that defense of LSU. So it should be a good game to watch, and I'm excited for that game. But I made $5 off your brother. Bet that the Golden Gophers would take down his precious Tigers, his War Eagles. So
that's fantastic. I love hearing that lose.
I forgot that I made the bet though. I made it like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, and at first I said 500, and then I said 5. He's like, okay, I can do that. And then I just ran, because I remember it was like random throughout. I wasn't watching the game. I just see down on my phone, it said, Walker paid you $5. And I said, what's that for? And then I look on the scores later, and Minnesota won, and I was about to text him, and I was like, oh, wait, I made a bet with him. Thanks for the money. I should have bet 500. Should have stuck with it.
I didn't even see the game. I just saw the result.
I can't believe they lost. That's crazy. But all right, enough about college.
I haven't seen Walker in a couple weeks, so I'm looking forward to hearing his explanation. He's usually pretty distraught about that kind of thing.
He said he didn't watch the game, which is kind of hard to believe.
I don't buy that for a second.
He watched every second of it. But all right, yeah, I'll tell you who's in the playoffs right now, and then you can make your pick. So there's 2 games tomorrow and 2 days Sunday. So it's AFC tomorrow and NFC Sunday, because obviously NFC is way better. So Saturday, the 12 o'clock game, 12 o'clock my time, Titans at Patriots. Who's your pick?
Titans at Patriots.
Titans have been hot. Pats kind of gained some steam towards the end, but I think roster-wise, Titans have them. You know, they got the leading rusher, Derrick Henry, had over 1,500 rushing yards. Ryan Tannehill's absolutely on fire.
Did they play earlier this season?
No.
They did not.
Or did they?
I think I'd say the Patriots from a Bill Belichick will scheme up. He's proven it over and over again. The lobster captain. He's gonna find a way. I don't think they'll have a deep Super Bowl run, but I think they'll squeak by this game here. At Foxborough.
You think?
In January here, it's hard to think that they'll blow this game.
Yeah, there's some crazy stat that they're like 12 and 3 in their first game in the playoff or something like that. Some crazy stat. But yeah, it's tough to bet. I've learned not to bet against Bill Belichick and Tom Brady and the Patriots. It's really tough to let's just go with this. I wouldn't be surprised if the Titans beat them. Like, the Titans are a good football team. The Patriots have a 42-year-old quarterback.
No, I concur, but I think if I'm having to choose here.
Yeah, if I'm putting money on it, I gotta go with the Patriots here. But Titans have some weapons, man. So I would not sleep on them. But the Patriots have the best defense in the league statistically. So it'll be a good matchup either way. The later game on Saturday is Bills at Texans. And I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say this is my upset. I'm going with the Bills. Bills Mafia on the road against Deshaun Watson and the banged up Houston Texans. I think the Bills go in there and win convincingly. What say you?
Bills versus the Texans.
The Texans only have Deshaun Watson and DeAndre Hopkins. They have nobody else.
J.J. Watt's back.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
I thought he was out for the season.
He's playing.
Is
He's
he?
playing tomorrow.
Shit. Well, I don't care. He's banged up. Yeah, but that's defense.
There's just a huge... someone who isn't even aware of playoff stuff. There were so many banners and things. J.J. Watt's back.
For
He's
real?
back. Like,
Are you
yeah,
sure
he's
that
back.
Are you sure it didn't say J.J. Watt's back is hurt?
I think it is hurt, but he's still going to play.
I thought he said that he wasn't. I thought he was out for the year.
He's suiting up.
Huh.
But I've got the Texans. I'm full believer in Deshaun Watson. We've talked about him on your show. I think.
Yeah, you love that guy. He was also your quarterback.
He's a winner.
Yeah, he did wonders for you in fantasy.
He wasn't the problem. The rest of my team.
Deshaun Watson and a bunch of
top
bums.
Top 5, if I recall.
To finish the year?
Yeah.
Definitely top 10. Yeah, top 5 probably. So you're going Texans then?
I'll go Texans, yeah.
All right. Writing it down. I'm writing it down. Sunday. The best game is going to be the early game, obviously. Minnesota Vikings at New Orleans Saints. The history between these two teams in the playoffs.
At New Orleans. Nice how you skipped over that.
I said it, at New Orleans.
I know, you just said it very, very quietly.
At New Orleans. But, no. there's a lot of history between these two teams in the playoffs. Obviously, the Minneapolis Miracle, Brett Favre throwing the interception, the Bounty Gate, all that good jazz. But what people are saying is, this is a tough team you're going to have to play. It's the same team. It's the same team from 2 years ago that Case Keenum was manhandling for the better part of 3 quarters until Drew Brees made his little comeback at the end, and then we had a Minneapolis Miracle their ass, send them packing home. But I'm honestly sick of the Minneapolis Miracle. I'm sick of hearing about it. I'm sick of talking about it because the very next week we got our dicks kicked in by the Eagles. So it didn't do anything. It'd be different if we won the Super Bowl. Like, yeah, it was a great moment in sports history of all sports, but it's tainted because of that. The next week, what happened? Because that's what everyone always says. We go, Minneapolis Miracle. What happened next week? 38-7. So I'm still salty about it, if you can't tell.
Sure, but a little sweetness can cancel out that salt here if they can put together a nice month.
Yeah, but it's the same. It's like I said, it's the same Saints team. It's an old, aging Drew Brees, but he is playing at a higher level than he was that year because I think it's the rest. He had 6 weeks off because of his thumb. I think he's feeling good. They had Michael Thomas. They had Alvin Kamara. They had this defense, Cam Jordan, all them good people, Marcus Williams. But now they're down Mark Ingram. They have Latavius Murray now, but he's no Mark Ingram. So I don't know. I just think that I think we got the better team here, and I'm not afraid of the Saints by any means. I'm not afraid. I like that we're playing them in their home rather than going on the road to Seattle or going on the road to Green Bay because inside, Kirk Cousins, we're used to playing inside. But I hate to say it, the way for the Vikings to win this game, we're a very one-dimensional team. Kirk needs a lot of things to go right for him to be able to succeed, which is, it's a knock on him, but it's definitely not the worst thing in the world. He needs a good running game, and Dalvin Cook says he's 100%. I believe he's 100%. We need the play action. We need to be able to roll out bootleg. He's the best bootleg play action quarterback in the league right now. I think it was 88% of his touchdowns are off bootlegs, play action bootlegs. So he knows how to throw on the run. And we saw what happened in Green Bay or in Minnesota against Green Bay when Dalvin Cook wasn't there and we couldn't get our running game going and Kirk Cousins just had to throw the ball and it just didn't look good. So need a lot to go good. Our defense is playing lights out. I'm not worried about our defense by any means. We've been playing crazy the last 4 weeks. So I'm proud.
What's your prediction?
It's definitely going to be a close game. I'm not going to say.
I want to hear a score here.
You want to hear a score?
Yeah.
I'm not going to go super high here because they both have two pretty good defenses. I'm going to go 24-21. Vikes.
Okay.
Field goal.
Respectable.
Dan Bailey. Never know.
Maybe the difference for you.
Let's hear your pick. Choose wisely. Know whose show you're on.
And completely objective. I think the Vikings can pull it off.
It's definitely an upset. Nobody picks us to win. Nobody's picking us to win.
But do you want me to or not? It's hard to tell when you.
I do, but I'm saying everyone's picking against us. I love it. Fuck it.
Yeah, I think they'll find a way. If Dalvin Cook's playing at his caliber,
and if Adam Thielen's back 100%, it's gonna be tough to beat us.
I think it takes pressure off if Dalvin Cook is making plays and getting screens and doing his thing. It opens up all the lanes, and Kirk Cousins can start slinging it around.
I'm guaranteeing us a win if Dalvin Cook rushes for over 100 yards.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Because that makes our play action game that much better. If he's getting 5-6 yards a carry like he was before he got hurt.
Your defense is taking it together, so yeah, that's the difference.
Dude, our defense is good, but I'm sorry, ain't nobody stopping Michael Thomas.
Well, it's just mitigating the damage.
That man's going to have 15 catches. I don't care.
100 yards and a touchdown. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah, he's going to get his, but it's we don't let them beat us. Xavier Rhodes is going to have his hands full. He has been trash all year. He knows it. And now he's going to go up against literally the best receiver in the league. So should be good. But I mean, I think our receivers are going to toast their corners like we did 2 years ago. So I'm not too worried about it. I'm just hoping Kirk doesn't succumb to the pressure, which I don't think he has this season. And as much as people want to say, I don't think he has done that. But
Sunday afternoon.
And what's crazy is I work Sunday, and I went up to my boss, and I was like, hey, because you can flex your hours and like take longer lunches if you want. So I said, so the game's at 12 my time, and that's usually when I take my lunch break. And I'm like, hey, if I flex my hours this week, like work 7 to 5 instead of an extra hour, can I take a 3-hour lunch break on Sunday and watch the game? She was like, I'll do you one better. Take half the day off. So just leave at 11:30. And I was like, for real? She's like, yeah. She's like, just make up those hours another time. And I say, okay, I'll come in on Monday, which is my day off. And I was like, I'll work half a day. I'll just do the same thing, 7 to 11:30. And she's like, okay, there you go. I'm like, hell yeah. So yeah, she's been, my supervisor's the best. She's been very, very helpful with my football addiction.
You have your disease.
Because she already gave me Super Bowl Sunday off. She gave it to me.
That is a sweetheart.
Yeah, I was pretty hyped about
even
that.
on your probation period. What are you going to do for the game? Home?
No, one of my coworkers is throwing a party, so I'll probably just do that.
For the Vikings game or for the Super Bowl?
Oh, I'm sorry, for the Super Bowl. Not for the Vikings game. I don't know. I kind of want to go out. Maybe go to that Hooters that we went to.
Yeah, that would be a big group there, I'm sure.
I haven't been there since week 1. Maybe they'll remember me and be like, hey.
You'll jump right back in once they realize you're a Vike.
But then I don't know. I've never watched a Vikings playoff game not in the safety of my home where I can cry if we lose.
Well, what better spot than in the arms of a fellow Viking?
Where they all just cry together, little pansies. But we're not gonna cry. We're gonna cry tears of joy probably, like I did last time the Vikings played the Saints. So that'd be nice. Last game, Seahawks at the Eagles. I'm going with the Hawks by a billion here. The Eagles do not deserve to be in the playoffs. Nobody in the NFC East does. The NFC least, I should say. But I will say the Eagles are a different team in the playoffs. They're just like the Patriots. They just flip a switch. Carson Wentz has been playing absolutely out of his mind the last 4 weeks going into the postseason. So, what say you?
That I didn't. You blanked out on me.
Okay, so it's the Seahawks at the Eagles. I'm going with the Seahawks. Who are you going with?
It's got to be the Seahawks there, yeah.
Yeah.
The Eagles are playing. I haven't paid much attention to them.
Eagles finished 8-8, I believe.
They squeaked on in the playoffs here, and the Seahawks. Russell Wilson's having an MVP season.
The Eagles did win their last 4 games. Carson Wentz was unbelievable those last 4 games, and they, like I was saying, you didn't hear me, but he's a different beast in the playoffs, man. Not just Carson Wentz. I know it's more Nick Foles.
Yeah, their team turns it up.
The Eagles do. They just flip it on. But they got like nobody. They got nobody on offense. It was crazy. There's some stat. It was like the people that, besides Zach Ertz, the people that Carson Wentz was throwing to and handing the ball off to were not in the NFL week 1. Like none of them. They're all free agents.
That's the way they play, and they buckle down. I kind of reminds me.
That's good coaching, man.
The Steelers of old.
Yep.
How they would just make the playoffs, and then Big Ben was their guy, and then they'd have a big run.
Or even the Steelers this year, they just find a way to win. They was finding ways to win games, even with their third-string quarterback. So,
yes.
I thought he was going to win Coach of the Year, Mike Tomlin, until they didn't make the playoffs and they lost to the Jets. So, that kind of ended that. But still.
Didn't the Vikings lose to the Jets as well?
No, we didn't play the Jets this year.
Who lost to the Jets? The Patriots?
The Cowboys.
That was it.
Yeah. Cowboys lost to the Jets. I mean, the Eagles lost to the Dolphins. Eagles lost to the Dolphins and then won 4 straight to make the playoffs. So that loss flipped the switch for them. They're like, I'm not doing this anymore.
You've got Seattle.
I got Seattle.
That's the last of the playoff games, right?
Yeah, and then obviously the Chiefs, the Niners, the Packers, and the Ravens have a first round bye. So if we win this game, we go to Lambeau and play the Packers.
That will be an excellent match.
I would love that. I would love to beat the Packers in the playoffs. They've swept us in the regular season, but I'm cool with beating them in the playoffs. But I'm not getting ahead of myself. I'm looking at this game this week. 2 days from now. Well, I guess tomorrow since it's midnight where I am.
Yeah. One at a time.
But all right, man. Thanks for coming on, man. I know this short notice, late notice. This is the latest I've ever done it. I'll try and upload it tomorrow.
I know you got work in the morning as well, so I appreciate you staying up late.
In like 5 hours.
Talk through it here.
But it's whatever. But all right, man. Thanks for being on the show and figure it out.
Figure it out. Love you, man.
Love you too, man.
Talk to you soon.
See ya.
Bye.
And it's always good having Trey Suddeth on. So yeah, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for hearing my rants with the whole fantasy championship thing. You only get to win once, like you said, every year. So thank you all for listening. Happy New Year, Merry Chrysler. Go watch the Vikings. Go watch everyone in the playoffs. I'm signing off. Figure it out.